Willow.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of TXR, episode number 104 to be exact, a place to kick back and unwind with your favorite game talk crew. I am your host, Invader, and I cannot wait to kick off tonight's show and dive right into the topics. But first, an announcement. We are now on even more podcasting platforms. You can now find TXR on iHeartRadio, CastBox, Radio Public, Anchor, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Just some more options for our wonderful fan base so that you can get your TXR fix anywhere. All the service links are listed in the description down below. And now, without further ado, let me introduce the panel. Hey, Megatron, how's my fellow metal badass doing? How you been the past week, man?
I've been hanging in there. I've been, like I was saying earlier, pre-show, just kind of been down on some things. That's it. As everyone knows, my friend Sir Merkham passed away about 3 weeks ago now, and it's been tough. I've been kind of quiet about it because it's just kind of hard for me to deal with. Didn't realize I was going to be the last time I was going to see him was at E3 in June. And I don't know. It's just it's been a rough situation. Rough, I don't know. It's just tough. I've just been coping.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I remember a couple of weeks ago we had mentioned his passing obviously on the show, and he was a great figure in the community. I did not know him very well. I did not know him personally, but I respect all people in the community, and a lot of people were touched, obviously by his passing and affected by that. And, rest in peace, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, thanks for being with us tonight, Megatron. Shock, how's my favorite static friend doing? How's things at your end?
Pretty good. Just playing some Persona 4 Golden. Trying to get through that. Those games are like hundreds of hours long. And jumping back into that new Destiny, got through Forsaken. I'll see if I can get into the old raids. I doubt they run anymore, but then get to that Shadowkeep DLC.
Yes. Well, I know you're not the only one on the panel who's itching to play the new expansion and whatnot. Centurion, my favorite gaming crusader. How's your weekend been, man?
Not long enough. Gosh, not enough time to play Destiny. I know everybody here is wanting to try the new DLC. I've been already dabbling in it and cleaning up some of the other missions that I kind of fell behind on. I've been spending a lot of time playing Destiny 2. And also, me and you the other night hung out for a little bit and played some Friday the 13th. That was an experience.
Some true gamers right there.
Oh, man. We heard stories about that game, and apparently they were true.
Hey, you know what? Okay, I'll admit, I actually had fun with the game. Like while we were playing, fun. Like it took some getting used to, and yeah, there were some definite noticeable glitches. But hey, you know what? It was free with gold, and I'd always kind of wanted to try it since I'm a Friday the 13th fan, and. Yeah, we had a pretty fun time there. What was it? The first time you were Jason, you totally beat everybody?
Oh, yeah, that was fun. And then the second time, everybody just beat my ass. I was able to kill one person, and then everybody's doing drive-by freaking slashings on me. Like somebody come out of the stick, stab me, run back in. And it was like they were all working together. That's what I was like, great. Now we're going against the guys that have been playing this game since day one, and they have total tactics down on how to take out Jason.
Mm-hmm,
I haven't played that since. It was fun for what I played. I was playing with Tim, and I kept getting my butt kicked with Jason. I felt like I was being picked on. I felt like the kid in school that got picked on for being Jason.
See, I will be upfront, man. This first time being Jason, I got the hedge trimmers, which were cool. It wasn't that big a deal. But the second time, they put that spear in my hand. that spear, nothing like running around trying to get people with a sharp stick. It ain't gonna work. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, that was the annoying part about it is I definitely will say do not be Jason with the spear because that made it rough.
Yeah, I tell you, there is some really cool moments though, because like all of a sudden you'll be in a house and then there'll be like some 80s music playing in the background as you're like, killing all the teenagers, and it's like, huh, you know, I remember this from the movie. This is pretty cool. All right. It's just interesting too, because when you're the counselors, it's like you have to work together. If you're all scattered, then Jason can just pick you off one by one. It doesn't work out very well, usually. So, no, I had a fun time. We should get a group thing going for that, or for other games too. But Friday the 13th is pretty fun. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Jeremy the Downer will be able to make it tonight. He's doing some stuff. And Tim, well, Tim Dog's traveling right now. He may not be able to make it. So you got this fantastic group of 4 with you tonight, as well as Southbound. Southbound may not be showing up tonight. He's got some things going on. But hey, great crew, great topics, and I cannot wait to get into them. We also got a fantastic group of people in the chat already. Shizno Elite, how you doing, bud? Matt Jones, thanks for showing up, bud. UK Daz had left a little note here. He'll catch up later. He's out in the UK, so obviously not be able to make it right now. Peter Sark, thanks for showing up, bud. Anthony Boyd, hey, how you doing, man? But yeah, we got all. Yeah,
I was gonna say what's up to everyone. I'm not logged in, so I can't respond to the chats, but I can't. Sorry, hi. I can't respond to anybody because I'm not logged into my YouTube account. So
hey, everybody knows you're a badass, Megatron. But before we get into the really meaty topics, guys, it's a new week, and you know what that means. We have a ton of new releases. It's late October, and there's all kinds of big games that have come out or are coming out in a few days. Let's see, who's picking up any of these titles? Let's see, I'll list off first the highly touted RPG, The Outer Worlds. Guys, anybody plan on picking that up here?
that should already be downloaded, man. The Game Pass, I don't have to, spend that extra cash. So I'm looking forward to playing that. Definitely.
Yeah, I picked it up for $1.
Uh-oh.
Hey, this is a game that I've been wanting to play ever since it got announced. I really like the whole aesthetic of it, the whole vintage look, with it being in outer space. It gives you a real Fallout feel to it too. It's the a lot of the creators behind Fallout are with Obsidian.
And to put it out there, even though I'm going to play it day one on Game Pass, with Black Friday right around the corner, I'm hoping that's one of those games that end up getting a massive discount on it as part of the sale that they have. I do want to eventually buy it to just support the developer.
I'm right with you on that one, man. This is supposed to be like the similarities to what Vegas, right? Somewhat.
It was done by the same company, so yeah, this is basically like almost like New Vegas, just with a different coat of paint on it.
Mm-hmm. I played the hell out of Fallout 3, but I still have sealed brand new. Backlog just goes on for years now, but like sealed brand new Vegas just sitting there. So I should just fire that up. Well, don't open it, but I should. I mean, I think I have it digitally. I'm pretty sure I have it digitally.
That just
already.
Came on Game Pass too.
Yeah, Fallout New Vegas will eat Fallout 3 alive, in my opinion. I mean, like,
I heard
there's a lot more flair into the game compared to Fallout 3.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. I had a really good friend of mine, childhood friend. We used to game together all the time. He told me, we were just talking yesterday that he liked Vegas much better than Fallout 3. He enjoyed Fallout 3. He beat it several times, but Vegas was definitely an improvement. So
yeah, I think Vegas was stronger in like the story department and everything, from what I hear.
Yeah, definitely. So, and now on the same day, we have Call of Duty Modern Warfare Guys, I know there's been a lot of talk back and forth about the newest Call of Duty because of the whole exclusive mode situation, which is unfortunate. But I'll admit, after playing the beta, I really liked what I played. I just might hold off until a sale. Are any of you guys going to be picking it up?
I'm kind of on the fence myself, but that's been forgotten about now. It seems like that whole extra mode or game type, people are just, I guess over it, and then probably gonna just that game's gonna sell like hotcakes. But I don't know. I bought the last one last year. What was the name of it? I don't even remember. But like, I played it a handful of times with a bunch of friends. And I'm not
Black
sure.
Ops 4?
Yeah, Black Ops 4. I didn't play it that much. It's just like I had to have it because if someone wanted to play, I'm glad I had it in rotation where I could just jump in. But we'll see. If enough people hit me up and say let's play some COD, I'll buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I promised a friend that I would get it before the whole, everything hit the fan with that mode being exclusive announced. So I'm like, I do really want to play with my buddies. That's the thing, right? So, yeah, I'll wait for a sale in any case. But, it's unfortunate. But, hey, you know what? It still looks like a cool game. What else do we have? We have Medieval, the remaster, coming out too, I think, on that day. It's a good day, late October, near Halloween. Any of you guys with PS4s, are you going to be picking that up?
I thought about it, but that might be something I might pick up again the following month because, me and my wife, we love platformers. Oh my God. I even got Super Lucky's Tale running around here somewhere.
It's a good game. I enjoyed it.
Dude, there's
a lot of
just times
they just bought it or they played it because of the demo disc that used to come with the PlayStation. That was the only reason they ever played it, and they played the demo and stopped, and so that's why a lot of them aren't jumping on it this time. They're like, yeah, I have nostalgia for it, but it's skip.
So as far as Medieval, you're gonna wait for the sale then? Is what you're basically. I mean, that's the best way to play it because there's so many games coming out, man. It's just like. We got to save somehow. So between Game Pass and these sales, the Black Friday, man.
Oh, yeah. We also got to worry about buying family members and friends presents as well because that's only like 2 months away. So definitely any savings I can get right now on consoles. And we also have new game consoles we need to start saving up for this time next year. So definitely need to be kind of saving the funds as much as I can.
Okay, very true. Also, we have the latest Plant vs. Zombies game, Battle for Neighborville, a new iteration in the Garden Warfare franchise. Now, I was a huge fan of the second game. I thought that the multiplayer was very compelling and just a cool game overall. Are any of you guys interested in this?
I'll let Megatron go first.
Yes and no. Nothing really kind of pulls me in. I heard it was such a really, really great game, but like, I don't know, man. Like, call me a fraud. I didn't even play the first one. I heard the first one was really good, really fun. So
neither did I. I didn't play the first one. It was the second one that kind of drew me. I was like, okay, I'll get it. It was around my birthday, and I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. And hey, man, I liked that. I liked the multiplayer. I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I don't know, everything just worked pretty good.
Is there a campaign to Plants vs. Zombies?
Yes and no. There's
it's like very small. Like almost you can almost look over it if you don't really look for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a backyard battleground, I think it's called, and you can do missions like for either the zombies or the plants. And it's interesting, and there's like collectibles and stuff, and you can do unlock a whole bunch of stuff, but it's not like a true campaign, I would say. No.
When it comes to Plants vs. Zombies, I picked it up on a sale one day for like $3.75, and I had saw the multiplayer on it, and I was like, I gotta check this out. And here's the funny part: the fact that it's done by EA. I do not know why they could not take the multiplayer mechanics and the reward mechanics in that game and apply them to Star Wars Battlefront, which they completely microtransactioned into the ground. Like that game was addictive. The rewards were definitely geared towards you doing well in the multiplayer. You were rewarded for playing the multiplayer, and yeah, it just didn't feel like a total grind. Like you actually had fun playing it, and then you get over. It's like they were almost getting kids ready to go into some of these games where they had more and more microtransactions. Does that make sense?
Sure.
But at any rate, I know PTK Blam loves the Plants vs. Zombies. And as a result, me and my wife actually, well, I played it a lot. Got my wife intrigued a little bit. So it's actually on my radar as being something that I think I might pick up, especially if my wife wants to play it with me.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, we're going to move into our first topic of the evening. And of course, we're on the cusp of The Outer Worlds being released in under a week now. And man, like I said, I am really excited for this game. Like, really, really excited. And a few days ago, there was an interview with Obsidian senior designer Brian Hines talking about development and how the whole Microsoft buyout affected Obsidian. He made some interesting comments stating that now that they're a part of Microsoft, that they can focus on what their next games are going to be rather than just pitching them. As well, he went on to state that we don't always have a carte blanche to whatever we want. That'd be fantastic. It definitely is much more focused on like, okay, let's make the games cool. Let's make the games we want to make. And that's one of the things that when we were acquired that Microsoft said to us, we're buying you because we want you to keep making the games that you've been doing, not change you. So obviously some interesting tidbits have been said there. It seems like there's a lot of reassurance coming from Microsoft. What do you guys make of this Obsidian dev statements? Is this encouraging to hear that they have the freedom to create cool worlds that they want?
Well, I'll tell you what, I had the opportunity to speak to a few of these devs, including Obsidian at E3, because we didn't really get a chance to talk that much about E3 because we just kind of took the summer off, but they were so enthusiastic and nothing but praises on their partnership with Microsoft. And I wish I could remember the person's name who I spoke with, but it was just, he just couldn't stop talking about how enthusiastic they were with their partnership. So that being said, man, I'm expecting great things from them all across the board. Like, I think it's going to be something to look forward to in the future, definitely.
Well, just think about it too. If the Outer Worlds actually, Shizno Elite brought it up too. If it looks good now, imagine what'll happen when this franchise goes into like the Outer Worlds 2 and it's fully funded by Microsoft. I mean, that's going to be something when they choose to expand the world and add in more. Because right now it's being published by the private division. I think it's Take-Two it's under, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously going forward, it will be a part of Microsoft. And I'm just, man, with the type of budget that they'll have under them, I really want them to create a living, breathing world, a world that you want to like explore and so on. I'm already into what they've been showing. I'm into the whole like vintage look, the Fallout vibes to it. It looks really cool to me. Centurion, is this something that you like hearing that Microsoft is going to allow these devs to make the cool games that they want to?
Well, yeah, because that's how you're going to get innovation. When you have restrictive policies that make it to where, this is what we want. Third person, over the shoulder. We want to push some boxes around. It has to, be narrative driven. Kind of see where I'm going with that. Basically, when you have a cookie cutter policy towards your games, it totally restricts the idea of innovation and creativity. Microsoft has had some of not the greatest exclusives this generation, but they have certainly had some of the most diverse. They're not all the same. A lot of them are even new concepts. Like look at Sea of Thieves.
Amazing game.
Yeah, and with Obsidian, they are the masters of the RPG. And it is definitely something that Microsoft wants in their wheelhouse. They know they're lacking that whole RPG side of things when it comes to games. So definitely it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to come out of Obsidian as time goes on, purely because now they're going to like you said, had all that Microsoft funding, and they're going to have some of the resources outside of funding. Like they're going to have access to even certain franchises in Microsoft, certain developers, and they're definitely going to be able to expand the depth of the product that they could put out.
Absolutely. And it's true, like obviously Microsoft's exclusives this generation had, well, to put it bluntly, they really teetered off towards the last couple of years. And obviously, they've been putting their money into acquiring studios like Obsidian. But, we really want, we've been missing RPGs from Microsoft. Obviously, we haven't had Fable this gen, or at least a true Fable. We haven't had like a lot of RPGs from them. So it's nice that they acquire this dev, Obsidian. They're known for their fantastic RPGs. And it's really encouraging. We got the Outer Worlds coming out. It looks like it's going to be one of the best Western RPGs this gen. It definitely caught my eye, and I love other people's. And with that game in their stable going forward, can you imagine what they'll be able to do with the Scarlet next gen? It's going to blow everyone's minds, I think.
It's already coming in 4K on the Xbox. If you want that experience, that we had that controversy over the last few days, whether it's going to be a bit, for the Pro or not. But, but they did say it's going to be what for the Pro, 1440p, which is still, I'm pretty sure, a great experience. It's just a resolution. It's a resolution thing, But if you want that clarity, that sharpness, come on over to that X.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Megatron, because I was going to touch on that too. Because, a few days ago, I guess it was the private division that came under fire, and Obsidian, for making an initial, I guess it was a tweet or some sort of a statement that the Outer Worlds would only be getting like Xbox One X enhancements and not the PS4 Pro. And this was later clarified, obviously, by Private Division, stating that the game would run at 4K on the Xbox One X and uses 4K textures. However, on the PS4 Pro, it will run at 4K, though it'll be upscaled, I guess 1440p, as you were saying. Now, guys, do you think this was kind of overblown, all the outrage? Because I saw a lot of tweets going on about that. I mean, obviously, Private Division clarified that. But, is it really a surprise that the Xbox One X would have, better visual upgrades than PS4 Pro? I mean, it kind of outperforms it the past year or so, right, when it came to the games.
I do think, sorry to just hop in there right away, but I do think it was completely blown out of proportion for two reasons. First reason, it's a Microsoft studio. So if you want the premium experience to be on Xbox, guess what? That is why it's an Xbox studio. If you want that premium experience, you go over to Xbox. Two, you have to accept the limitations of the PS4 Pro. I own a PS4 Pro. I own an Xbox One X. My wife, who is not as hardcore of a gamer as I am, can see the differences on both consoles when it comes to up-resing or whatever you want to call it. By far, the Xbox One X is more powerful than the Pro. And so no matter how much you want, there is no, I'm sorry, but if I was Microsoft and, the PlayStation fans were like, no, you need to make it fair. You should make the Xbox version look just like the PlayStation. It's like, no, it's not our fault. Our machine is better quality.
Remember, it was back in 2014 with Grand Theft Auto that people were losing their minds over a couple of blades of grass.
Oh, right? Yeah. And then also for some reason, apparently at the beginning of this generation, people were able to tell the difference between 900p and 1080p. And now you can't tell the difference between 2160 and 1440. So
Isn't it
Whatever
funny?
Well, the
It's
thing is,
crazy.
I was never one of those people that was like, overblowing at the time. Like even 1440p, like I mean, I think it would still look pretty decent, right? Like I just
I was never even in resolution. Let me tell you, that 900, that 792p Titanfall game that came out, I had a blast
How
playing
about
Mhm.
that. So and it
um?
just
Oh
go ahead.
yeah.
I just got Ghost Recon Breakpoint. It was
Mhm.
I won it on Wilmy Hood's podcast. Shout out to Wilmy Hood, thank you.
Nice.
Um, so many people have been talking about, oh, it doesn't look realistic. This looks like crap. The game just isn't really what we thought it would be when it comes to, the resolution and the quality you're thinking you're getting. Sometimes I'm gonna be upfront. I really look past some stuff like that. If the game plays well and it's got a story that can pull me in, to me, lifelike graphics and resolution aren't the end all be all of a game. To me, it's deeper than that.
hmm Well, I mean, it's interesting that there was such an uproar over it. However, I will say, I mean, the Xbox One X, the hardware itself, it is so much more powerful that, of course it's going to have a bit of an advantage, a bit more juice to crank out, those textures, right? So,
What was
I'm
funny
not.
was Foxy Games. They were the ones that were trying to slander Jez, even though Jez didn't even write that Windows Central article, saying like you need to check your facts. I'm like, they got the info from the direct PR from that is representing Private Division, who's publishing the game. So
Mhm.
it's like, well, then we can blame you just as much because you got wrong info as well,
Well,
and
that was given to
told
him,
everybody.
so and that's what everybody, all the GameSpot, everyone took that information that was given to them and took it as facts. I mean, it's just a mistake.
Right.
And Microsoft couldn't even call the shots on that anyway. It's Private Division. They're not going to
Hmm.
jeopardize their whole reputation of like being paid off to hold back a platform. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's true. Now, if I recall correctly, because I scrolled through that, did he actually post a picture of like what Private Division sent?
Yeah, they said no PS4 enhancement. They told him.
Yeah, that's what I
So
thought.
that's what people were thinking. Like no no 2K at all. Like they thought it was just gonna be like 1080p, no enhancement between the Pro and the base PS4. That's what
Hmm
people were kind of pissed about.
I
Yeah,
didn't
and
see
like,
any retractions from GameSpot, by the way. I don't think they ever even made a retraction at all about because they reported it too as well, and I didn't see them change anything. I'm pretty sure maybe I missed it, but
well, there are a
everybody.
few retractions across the board. I'm not sure about GameStop, but I do remember seeing some articles changed pretty quickly
Hmm.
about that. But as Shizno Elite said, yeah, they were only reported what they were told. You can't really blame them, right? That was the information given. Like it says it
And
right there.
that's also hilarious because Foxy Games is the one that was saying in his video that, oh, this must have been, I think it's Microsoft that did this. And like, so you were slandering, Microsoft not knowing the facts when
Crazy.
you're critiquing Windows Central for providing the facts that they were given from the direct source. So if anything, you were worse than what they did.
There goes his credibility. So that's good.
Yeah. Well, that's what
Like,
happens when you have like really hot takes on things right off the bat, right? And then everything just changes in an instant. Go ahead, Shock.
oh, I was gonna mention. I watched one of MBG's, or no, his tweet about, oh, this is with those Gears of War microtransactions. Like this is what you expect with Game Pass, and I'm like, wait a second. Like that's every Division, Destiny. They all have look at them. They all have egregious cosmetic microtransactions, all around the same price, if not worse, elsewhere.
If
And they
so,
took out the map packs and the gambling. People were spending way more money trying to get those cosmetics in Gears 4. They didn't think they were because they were just buying loot boxes, but they were spending way more to get those.
if somebody's going to criticize microtransactions at this point, they need to go brush up on what's going to happen with Call of Duty. Like, I mean, like that. They flat out blatantly said that the game is going to go towards pay to win.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, there's my answer from the previous question. I'm not buying it if it's going to be a pay to win. You know, I'm
Yeah,
spending enough money.
they
I'm
did. They
spending enough money
basically
on these
came out and
games.
said that they don't want to make this game for like the casual kind of player. They want the hardcore Call of Duty fans that have no problem getting their wallet out.
I don't.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
what's
fucking
probably
a
gonna
lie. You
happen?
got to define hardcore with how much money you make to enjoy a game to really get into it. That's not good. That's not good
Well,
for anyone that wants to
and
play
then,
this game.
and they're also being sneaky about the fact that they were like, oh, the game's going to release without microtransactions and loot boxes, but that's because they're just doing that short term to get past the review period of the game, so the game reviews well. And after that, probably by Christmas time, they're going to start rolling out the microtransactions and loot boxes.
Mhm.
Well, didn't they do pretty much the same thing with Black Ops 4?
I'll be truthful, I didn't really play that game as much as
Yeah.
I should have, because I'm like with Megatron. I bought that game because I was going to play with friends, and then everybody kind of fell off the bandwagon very quickly. And that's one of the, like, I don't really regret having a massive backlog, but sadly, when it comes to Call of Duty Black Ops, that's one of those games where I really regret the fact of I bought that game full price with the season pass and never really got my money's worth out of it.
Yeah, well,
And
it was
no
a content.
campaign.
It was a
There's no
content
campaign
thing
with
for
that
me.
one. Go
Like,
ahead. Sorry.
yeah, sorry, as you said, Megatron, like, no campaign. Obviously the focus was on the battle royale. Even with the amount of maps that it had, if you're gonna be focusing on the multiplayer, it's just you should have had more maps at launch too. And to me, even the aesthetics of it, I just didn't recognize it as a Black Ops game. To me, it wasn't Black Ops 4. To me, it was just Call of Duty Online, really, to me.
It also reminded me of a little bit of Rainbow Six Siege, just more superhero like, because when you got into the actual arcade play, you had different operators that had their own special abilities that really changed the dynamic of the game. And it reminded me of Rainbow Six Siege, where you have these operators that, I know they're supposed to be based on real life individuals or real life actual military units that are out there in this world, and some of them just have these abilities that totally change the dynamic of the game. And that's where I was just like, wow, it almost feels like they're just trying to copy, they're trying to copy Fortnite over here because they know Battle Royale. They've seen how Ubisoft has totally resurrected Rainbow Six Siege. It definitely reminded me of, there wasn't very much innovation. It was more like cut, copy, and paste.
Absolutely. Well, again, with the whole Outer Worlds resolution fiasco, I'm glad that it was all cleared up. But just for a few hours, it was just funny, like the amount of bantering going on. I couldn't believe it, just over little thing like resolution.
I liked the idea of what somebody said. Could you imagine if Xbox, the roles were reversed? People would be like, oh, look, Xbox is once again not getting blah, 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 because it's Xbox. But then all of a sudden it occurs that this whole resolution thing is happening, and all of a sudden people have something to say about it. And, it's like that whole argument. What works for one company should be able to work for the other on different company, but apparently not.
Well, it's going to be quite interesting come next year when we got the new consoles and they show off everything officially. I'll be curious to see how many people are counting the blades of grass in Halo Infinite. Let's just put it like that.
I think at E3 they should have a booth where people are counting blades of grass and they can win prizes, kind of like at a carnival. How many blades of grass can you count and figure out which console it is?
What do I win?
Yeah, they win goldfish, just like at the carnival.
Can I get at least like a stuffed conker or something?
Like counting the jelly beans in the jar, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. How many blades of grass are on the screen?
Yeah. All All right, guys, I'm going to move on to the next topic. And Xbox Game Pass has become, well, a very impressive service for Microsoft, with more people joining in for the library on hand. But now we've got some really interesting numbers coming out, and they really say a lot about the effects of the service. Now, this was shared the other day from ID at Xbox lead Agostino Simonetta at a game industry biz event with lots of positive data for the service. Now, first, being that subscribers to Game Pass are playing 40% more games, and this includes games outside of Game Pass catalog. Now, that's pretty impressive, isn't that, fellas?
Yeah, I would say. I mean,
I
I
mean,
speak for myself. I love Game Pass. My kids love it. I've saved a ton of money. It's a great value, and you can't beat it. And it works with Game Share as well because I'm doing it now. I just fired up the other Xbox, and we got it downstairs and upstairs, and it works without a hitch. So
mhm.
Game Pass is a win in my book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And he also pointed out an increase in Xbox users trying a wider variety of games. Something about like 91% of subscribers, they've played games that they wouldn't have any other time without Game Pass. So people are trying new things because they have that library to sample. Like, that's just pretty impressive altogether. I know for myself, since I got Game Pass, obviously, through you, Megatron, which I'm very grateful for. I've been playing games that I wouldn't have normally bought, like especially at release, like whether it be little indie games or games that I missed out on. For example, I'll give everybody an example. I recently played through Batman Arkham Asylum. Obviously, it's an older game, but everyone was just saying so many positive things about it. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm in a Batman mood. I just saw the Joker. I'm like, okay, let's play it. And lo and behold, I played through it and I loved it. I absolutely enjoyed it. And then that made me want to play on. They have Batman Arkham City. So, of course, hey, you know what? I'll try that too. And just this whole effect, like this spiraling effect that I just want to try this and that and that. It's having me sample everything. And I just completely love the service. What can I say?
It's great, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Shock, what are your thoughts on this? Are these numbers like impressive to you? Like, do you think that like more people trying other genres, like that's obviously a positive thing for Xbox?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that's great about Game Pass, especially with a lot of these indies that are going to be entering it like day one. Like I'm excited to play that After Party indie game that they showcased. That's going to be entering in pretty soon. But yeah, you get to try a bunch of stuff you would never had spent because a lot of them be like 20, $30. And you're like, well, I'm not going to spend, yet you don't know that developer. So you get to know a lot of other games, smaller devs. So you can see hey, maybe I'll check out this game because I played the other one from them and I like the last one they made. So you get to branch out a lot. So I don't get all the negativity around it, saying like it devalues Xbox games. I'm like, who cares? Like you have direct access to them. You can either subscribe or you can buy them. They're like, I like to own my own games. I'm like, well, you can still do that. You can just buy them and not use Game Pass. I don't understand.
We got Delilah in the chat here, and obviously she's a huge Xbox fan, and she's like, oh, I had to stop through. And I love the Arkham games. They're so fun. The Outer Worlds launching on Game Pass is huge, especially when you compare it to the availability cost on other platforms. And she makes a great point. Obviously, we had touched on that
You got to get
before.
Delilah on the show. So her gaming crew, Grown Woman Gaming. Shout out to them. She is a really, really smart woman who games. And I missed you last night, by the way. I saw the invite, but yeah, we got to get them on the show one day, man.
All right. All right. Me and Delilah will be in touch, definitely. But yeah, Game Pass, I mean, I just love the availability of the games. Obviously, when it first launched, I mean, hey, I like the library. Maybe at first it wasn't as strong, but now there's just so much to choose from, whether it be AAA games or smaller indie titles. But there's all kinds of stuff that I have downloaded that I'm like, oh man, I totally forgot that I had that on my Xbox. Um, I don't really know what else to say. It's just to me, like, as much as I don't want to prop it up anymore, I do think it is a fantastic service, and obviously the statistics are pointing in that direction. Xbox users are really liking it.
There was that brief scare that I think Uptown Soul, his Twitter account, he had posted saying that it was listed that Halo Wars Definitive Edition was going to leave Game Pass because they had it mistakenly and they're leaving soon. It's like, you can go buy that game on 360 for $5 at GameStop. Like,
now that wasn't true, obviously, was it? Since it's a first-party game.
It came out from Microsoft's Twitter account that it wasn't true.
Mm-hmm. And I found that pretty weird too, because when that stuff was getting thrown around, I was like, well, that doesn't really make any sense. That's a first-party game. All their first-party games are going to be staying in the library permanently. So when I first saw that, I was like, that has to be some kind of a glitch or an error, So I don't know. I just found that kind of funny. Because what was it? It was Halo Wars 2, and wasn't there another couple
Doom.
of games?
Halo Wars 2 and Doom. Yeah.
Doom. Were the two that were mistakenly put in there. Yeah.
Phenomenal game, by the way, Halo Wars 2. If you guys played that, play it. It's on Game Pass.
No, not Halo Wars 2. It was the original Halo Wars.
Oh, it was the original Halo Wars.
It was a remastered version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Well,
but it was like, this is a decade, 12-year-old game. It's like, no one's losing sleep over this game. And it's $5 if you want the 360 version.
Hey, I love Halo Wars 2 personally.
The
first Halo Wars. It's fantastic to me. Like, for the amount of content there. Mm-hmm. I liked it. I really liked it. I mean, Halo Wars 2 is great too. I would say it's a little lighter in the content area, but still, I mean, beautiful game, and I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, it was really surprising when I saw that. Like, really leaving Game Pass? I don't think so. That must be a mistake. So glad that got cleared up. But yeah, a lot of good things coming with Game Pass. I'm glad to see that the statistics are strong, and yeah, guys, I definitely suggest grabbing Game Pass. There's usually some kind of sales on for it. I'd extended it for $1 when it was on. So especially, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Hard to go wrong there, right? All right, fellas, moving along to our next topic. And it looks like we've got another PS5 leak. And according to a recent price listing from a European retailer, the PS5s will cost €500, which roughly translate to about $560 US. The release date is also set for December 4th, 2020, on par with the projections for it. So guys, some interesting stuff popping up, of course. Now, do you guys trust the information on this listing, or is this just a random placeholder, do you think?
Hell no.
I don't think I think December 4th is kind of too late in the season. I think if you're going to release a console, I think ideally I would think September or October. Maybe the latest
November.
November.
They're giving Black Friday up to.
Yeah, they're not going to miss Black Friday.
No, that's if you don't mind me interrupting, comicbook.com relayed this information, but according to a lot of reports and analytics that are being done, the December is actually looking like a very valid release date for the PlayStation, because the leak, because I did the video on it, the leak came out of a retailer in Slovakia. So, you can take it with a grain of salt, but there is numerous sources before this leak even came out that were already talking about how the release date for the PS5 is going to be later than people think. And they are really believing that it's going to be December. And I think that's partially because I think they do want Xbox to release first. So that way, if by some chance the Xbox Scarlet flops, they will be able to kind of swoop in for the win.
That's an interesting take.
Well, the price threw it off for me
But-
because it was like 550 US. I'm like, there's not gonna do 550. There's no reason to, because in a lot of economic terms, that if once you put at 550, people just automatically assume it. Oh, okay, 600 because with
See,
tax and everything.
that
Versus like
again,
they equate them to being almost the same price.
again,
That's not
it's not out of their wheelhouse to charge $600 for a console. Look at what happened with the PS3. We're
Well, I meant
also
like 550. Like,
Oh,
why
yeah.
would you do 550 US? That's what it equated to from the Euro.
I think it's going to be more towards the 600 side of the spectrum, purely because
Yeah.
we're talking SSD hard drives, custom graphic processors, and we're also using really really good RAM. Like if you go and look at the, I did it in a previous video. Dealer also touched on it. Somebody superimposed one of the codes off of the top of the RAM chips when they showed the board for the Scarlet. And these are Samsung RAM chips. These aren't some just, random run of the mill discount bargain bin RAM chip. If they're using Samsung RAM chips, they're using name brand parts. These consoles are going to be a premium experience that is probably more than likely going to come with a premium price.
Right. Well, it's interesting. Do you think that they would?
There is that rumor, though. Really, I'm sorry, Invader, but there was a rumor. They did say they may be releasing 2 consoles, right? Was that any truth to that? Did you guys remember that just recently?
There was a rumor a while back about that, but I'm not sure if it got shot. I'm pretty sure it got shot down by Sony, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Maybe. I remember. I remember seeing something about that. I'm pretty sure that they're just doing one traditional console, but I could be mistaken. Chat, you can back me up on that if you'd like. But I just have a feeling that Sony's still going to go the traditional console, like one console route on this, at least right off the bat, anyways.
Only thing I don't believe is the release date. I mean, you're gonna miss Black Friday. Like, you're not gonna release before November or around that time. I mean, that's the only thing I don't believe. The price, to me, it's a toss up, but to miss one of the
That's
biggest
where
shopping holidays.
Microsoft would have a great opportunity is if they beat you to market, and if they were just to be crafty and be like, you know what, we got to make sure let's undercut them by $100. Like they undercut you by 100 and they're first on the market. Like, I mean, obviously PlayStation has all the momentum still, so that's gonna help.
You released the Scarlet, Game Pass, whatever you're gonna include with Game Pass.
Yeah, Game
Halo's
Pass and $100 left.
Halo is coming out. Halo is coming. Infinite is coming out the day of release of the console. I mean, that brings you back to the OG Xbox days. I mean, and maybe and who else knows we're going to get next that during 2020. I mean, that's going to be E3 is going to be big this year and very telling. And then Halo Infinite is coming out, at the same time as Scarlet is. I mean, it just makes me not want to believe that one aspect of that rumor, that leak of that them releasing December 4th, you said, or it's just
December 4th.
December 4th was the most concrete date I've heard, but a lot of them are just saying December.
Well, even so, I remember like the last consoles in 2013, they were well past Black Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's one thing, like, to point out, what was the one thing we've all been talking about Black Friday? Sale, sale, sale. Like, people expect discounts on Black Friday. People expect discounts on Black Friday. That's the whole reason why people sleep outside stores and do crazy stuff and fight each other in parking lots, is because they want to pay crazy cheap prices for really great stuff. And nobody's going to go flock out on Black Friday and want to buy a full price item. That's might be one reason why they're not too concerned about the Black Friday spending, because they know the holidays in general just get people to spend money. And if this does turn out to be true, that means that Xbox has the potential, I'm not saying guaranteed, but has the potential to come out a full month before the PS5.
All right. Well, I was a bit mistaken before I just researching it. So the consoles were out a week before Black Friday back in 2013, or at
Mhm.
least, yeah, from the looks of it.
That's the thing.
And
Stores run those deals. Like Microsoft doesn't take the hit. The like Best Buy will run a sale because they'll get people in the store and then they'll buy their stuff.
mhm,
So you wouldn't want to miss that for sure.
right, yeah. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to miss it by a week, right? So I
See,
don't know.
I've heard on some of those Black Friday sales that they sell them like they're like promotional items that get sold, and they were specifically for that reason. They were like over. That's why with a lot of televisions that you buy on Black Friday, they're actually the year before televisions. Most of them, they're not brand new, top of the line televisions that just came out. They're like last
Mhm,
year's
Mhm.
televisions left over, and that's why they're being discounted like that, because basically the manufacturers are liquidating their stock. And the funny part is, I do have friends that work at GameStop. When you go in and buy a game that's on sale at GameStop, GameStop isn't the one taking the hit. They actually get reimbursed for the full retail value of that game by the publisher of that game. So it's really weird. A lot of times, even though the company is using those prices to get people in the door, they're
Yeah.
actually doing it pretty risk free, and it's really going back on the manufacturer or publisher of whatever's being sold.
mhm.
Well, a lot of times they'll like sell the system and they'll be like, okay, you buy 2 games with it, we'll give you like $20 off. So you're
Oh
still
yeah,
paying
well
full
that's
price for the system, but
most of
then
the
like
time
the
with systems.
publisher, yeah, might give you a deal.
Most of the time with systems on Black Friday, I've noticed really then rather than discounting the system a lot of times, especially when they're brand new, they really like to do bundle deals where you buy the system, you get a controller and a stack of games. Basically, they don't want to discount the console. They're just trying to basically throw things in to incentivize you to want to pay full price for it.
Well, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see when the official release dates come because December 4th, while I mean I could see them targeting for November, at the same time, even if it was delayed by a week or so, the first week of December doesn't really seem that far off to me, to be honest with you. So we'll see, guys. Anything's possible at this point, but hey, we're starting to see some things leak through the cracks, maybe, just maybe. But with that said, we'll move on to our next topic here. And Capcom is saying that it wants to revive a bunch of its dormant IPs. And in a recent investors report, the company's COO, uh, Haruhiro Sugimoto, discussed Capcom's future plans, including being adamant about bringing back classic games, stating that, for the time being, while we are placing a priority on maximizing the revenue from current core IP, we are actively looking to utilize dormant IP. So, some very interesting comments here, especially considering we've heard over the past years similar sentiments from other Capcom employees. Guys, what are your thoughts? What franchises could you see Capcom possibly revisiting and reviving? Do any older games come to mind? Because, hey, personally, I would love to see a Dark Void 2, just saying, just putting it out there. Dark Void 2 kicks butt.
I
I know,
think I was more focused on you pronouncing that gentleman's name without messing it up because I would have botched it completely.
dude, Invader does need an
Completely.
award. I thought that too,
Like,
man.
Jesus. I was giving you a little golf clap behind the scenes, but my camera was off because I'm like, what?
I
I
try,
think
man. I
I
try.
did try, bro.
Anytime I see a name from that part of the world, I'm just gonna send it over to Invader and be like, "Hey, how do you say this?"
Well, it takes lots of practice, but
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, looking at some of the names, yeah, some of the Japanese names are a little difficult, but you manage through them a little bit. Just take some practice. But yeah, guys, Capcom has a very storied history. They got lots of games, lots of old IP that people want to see brought back, and they're interested. Obviously they had a lot of success with Monster Hunter the past year. The was it Resident Evil 2 as well early on. They have a lot of IPs that a lot of people weren't revisited. What would you guys like to see brought back?
They're hitting some home runs with those, man. I really can't think of it. I'm thinking my first game would be maybe Power Stone. I enjoyed that a lot. But that is Capcom, right? That's not Konami. It is Capcom. Power Stone? Yes. Somebody help me out.
I believe so. Yes.
And then it was Steel Battalion. Those are the only two that I played and enjoyed. I can't really think of anything right offhand.
Thank you for
sure.
saying Steel Battalion, by the way. I mean, I love my mech games, so
That game was fun, bro. That controller was, it was the most expensive game still, I think, today. Maybe possibly Rock Band beat it out, but I think that game was $250 when it first released. It was just an offline, campaign, no versus, no anything. So you just bought this big, humongous controller, which was fun to use, and the learning curve in itself was just fun. And you beat the game, and then that was it. You just spent $200, and and then that following year they released Steel Battalion 2, and it was online, and you got to play with people from all over.
So this isn't the Kinect version, you're saying?
No, not the Kinect version. That is not even in my. I can't ever want to even think about trying that game. It's just kind of.
Why they did that? Why I have no idea. Of all the games to use it, like maybe some practical applications, but man,
Did you try that out though, Invader?
No, I wanted to because I'm a huge mech fan. I actually don't mind some Kinect games, but man, as soon as I saw that it was for Kinect, I was like, "What are you guys doing?" Oh.
Some guy brought in a Steel Battalion, never opened original Xbox with the whole controller and everything.
Nice.
But they wanted 600 for it, so I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one."
Ooh, dang. Well, they got, like I said, a whole bunch of IP that people. Yeah, I was just gonna say that Dino Crisis, and there's been a lot of rumors about Dino Crisis coming back, like going back even to like the Xbox One reveal. People are saying that Xbox was gonna steal that away, get Capcom working on it, but yeah, there's a lot of people want to see some Dino Crisis love. Actually, funny enough, over the past couple of days, I've seen some Okami talk as well. A lot of people like that franchise. They want to see it brought back. Do we have any Ghost and Goblins fans here?
I played a ton of it on the NES, and I think it's available for the Switch, if I'm not mistaken. And that game was hella hard, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Me and my evil twin brother would play that game for hours and hours and hours, and still be on the first level because we suck. Because we suck. But yeah, Ghosts and Goblins, man, would be cool. Maybe a remaster, some fresh coat of paint, music.
Well, obviously they don't mind doing that, so that would be pretty fantastic. I wouldn't mind that. I know a couple of people from the DazCast crew, UK Daz, I'm pretty sure would love to see Ghost and Goblins, I'm pretty sure. What about even more recent games that need some love? Dragon's Dogma definitely comes to mind. People seem to love that game.
Never tried that one. What else? Bionic Commando. That's a Capcom game, right? I had fun with that. That was all NES stuff.
Yep.
That was pretty good. I know there's been some iterations, different ones of that, but never tried it. But I wouldn't mind seeing Bionic Commando coming out with that. He had that grappling hook, and he just kind of traversed the world.
Well, that game got some love too. I remember some iterations on the 360 arcade, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that was. And how long ago was that?
I'd be lying if I knew a specific date. I want to say like around 2009, 2010, something like that. But I wouldn't mind seeing it come back in some form.
I'd play it.
Like they've isn't Strider a Capcom IP as well? I know that, what was it, before Double Helix got bought and they were doing Killer Instinct, they also did a Strider reboot too, and there was some mixed things about it, but aesthetically, I kind of liked it. It looked pretty cool to me. So I'd be open to another Strider. Here's one for you, another mech game that's also a Capcom IP, Lost Planet. Anybody remember Lost Planet?
Dude, I've even thought about buying those on back compat. I remember playing those.
They just released those. Wasn't it the beginning of this year they released those for backwards compatibility?
Yeah, they did.
I think so.
I picked them up.
Yeah, I believe so. Like, hey, those games were like pretty cool. Right off the bat, was it Lost Planet, the first one? That was a like a 360 exclusive at one point.
Yeah, it was exclusive, the first one at least.
Yeah,
because it came out before. I'm pretty sure it came out before the PlayStation was out.
Yeah, it was early on. I remember that. That was one of the games that Microsoft was. I don't want to say hyping up, but there was a lot of interest
it had a free
in
demo too, so a lot of people got to try it.
Yeah, but hey, I love my exploring alien planets. I love mech games. I'm just a big fan of that kind of genre, and I would love to see that series return. But I don't know, guys. Do you think, obviously, we've had Street Fighter on the PS4. Do you think that we'll see a Street Fighter game come to Xbox anytime soon?
I want to see why not. I mean, I think they...
Imagine the next one.
I hope so, but you never know, right? Obviously, with the exclusivity deals.
But they did release that collection recently, so I would think they would keep it going.
True. Well, you never know. What guys in the chat, what would you like to see from Capcom, whether it be a remaster or just an IP comeback out of the blue? Because again, Capcom, very storied. It'd be nice to see a new Mega Man game come out. Actually, they did have one a year ago, but
Darkstalkers.
Yeah, Darkstalkers would be nice too. Again, Capcom, they got loads of IP, and I would love to see them utilize them. Heck, I would. You know what? I would even welcome. I know this series has seen an iteration back in 2016 and 2013, but I would really love to see them put their heart and soul into another Dead Rising game, personally. But I don't know, the last Dead Rising game I thought was kind of meh, personally. So, just my thoughts on that. Let's see. Well, let's move on to our next topic, fellas. And some news came our way. It was very interesting when it comes to trademarks popping up. Now, Take-Two Interactive has recently registered a bunch of Mafia-related trademarks, one being for the Mafia name trademark and the other being for Mafia 2. 2016's Mafia 3 saw mixed reviews, and the studio responsible for it had some layoffs because of it. Now, I'm a big fan of the Mafia games, especially Mafia 2. To me, more Mafia is always a good thing, in my opinion, when it comes to those games. Now, guys, what do you think of these trademarks? Do you think they're pointing towards a new game, maybe possible remasters? What do you think?
Well, everybody don't talk at once.
Bueller?
Well, I did notice at the end of the article, it did say they could just be renewing the license just to renew it. But I will be truthful. I'm a bit of a fraud. I haven't played any of the Mafia games yet. I have Mafia 3 in my backlog because it really leapt out at me as something that looks like I'm gonna enjoy to play. But definitely, that's where I just, it could mean nothing, but at the same time, it could mean something because, registering these trademarks, am I right? This isn't exactly something that's done free. You got to pay to register these trademarks, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So that you wouldn't re-register trademarks unless you had some kind of intention from.
Right.
Yeah.
So definitely, you never know because I heard a lot of people give Mafia 3 in high regards. So you definitely could have a sequel. But, I've heard a lot of people talk about how they enjoyed Mafia 2 and Mafia 1. So you could also have a remaster of those two that they're cooking up as well.
Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Mafia 2 really sticks out to me because it had a wonderful like character base to it, plus the setting itself. It was a cool period to be in, and the world was cool. It was one of those games. It was an open world game that it didn't have any load times. You can just walk into a building and there was no loading into it. My one thing would be, if I had to nitpick about it, it didn't have that many action sequences from what I remember. It could have had a little more, like actual like fight scenes going on, but it was a solid game. I speak highly of Mafia 2. Mafia 3 didn't capture me in the same way. And then I personally, I had heard some mixed things about a lot of bugs and so on. So I was kind of put off by it originally. I might pick it up sometime soon if I see it on a low sale. But Mafia games, I enjoy them.
Mafia 3, if I'm right, I've seen it if I'm right, the deluxe version for that game around Black Friday should be somewhere around like $10, and that's for the base game plus the season pass.
Well, then that's pretty awesome. I may need to pick that up then. Let's see who we got popping in the chat here. Mr. Kima, he says, good show. Thank you very much, my friend. To answer my question earlier, we have lots of people putting in what they'd like to see Capcom revisit. Ghosts and Goblins, Mega Man X9, Onimusha. Oh, I totally forgot about Onimusha.
Oh, Onimusha.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a new one.
Train.
Yeah. Oh, Dreadpool popped in. Very cool. Nice to see you here, Dreddy. Yeah. Oh, Shizno Elite here is saying Mafia 2 was very fun, but there wasn't anything to do besides the story, which negates the need for an open world. And he brings up a good point. He does bring up a good point that there wasn't a lot to do, and I totally agree with you on that. But I don't know, man, just something about the world, the voice acting and whatnot was.
Don't shoot me, but did Mafia 2 come out this gen?
No, it came out last gen, actually.
Okay, that's what I thought. And then I was trying to talk and my mic was muted, so I'm sorry. My daughter's got this little squeezy toy that's like singing, and I tried to like not have that playing in the background when I was talking. But I have Mafia 3. Never played it. It's in the backlog, and so call me a fraud. But I do want to play the game, but just haven't had time to get around to it. So xCloud for the win, hopefully with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mafia 2's backwards compatible as well. But it would totally make sense if we saw a remaster for it, especially because there have been rumors about Hangar 13, the studio responsible for Mafia 3, working on a Mafia 4. There have been talks about supposedly being set in Las Vegas, like 1960s, 1970s, I believe. So that'd be pretty cool. And actually that setting would rock now that I think about it. But yeah, more Mafia is a good thing. Shock, have you played any of the Mafia games?
I don't think I haven't played a single one. I think I watched people play the first one on I think the PS2.
All right.
Shock lives that life. He can't play the game. That's his daily.
Shock is the game. What are you talking about?
Like I'm breaking someone's legs right now.
I don't think it's just been a game that stood out too much. Like I guess somewhat the first one, and then the second one. There was so much going on last gen that totally missed it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, the story is pretty awesome, and I highly suggest picking it up. If we get a remaster out of it, I mean, it would make sense to have a remaster for this. You got the trademarks pointing to that, in my opinion, and then you announce a Mafia 4, and then so on and so forth. It kind of lines up well, especially, hey, we got next gen around the corner. Just saying, right? But yeah,
that's what it was. PS2 era. We had Godfather, Scarface. There's so many Mafia movies or Mafia games.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now that you mention it, Godfather. Yeah, that's right. Scarface. Remember Scarface as well?
The movie, yes. The game, no.
So... there was a Scarface game. I remember that. Also a good movie, by the way.
Definitely.
But all right, guys, let's move on to what we've been playing. What's everybody been playing lately? We'll start with Shock. What have you been playing the past week or so?
Yeah, little Persona 4 Golden, some Destiny. I'm trying to think what else I was jumping on recently. I found some good spots to download some ISOs and ROMs, but yeah, I was stocking up on those to get. I was gonna buy some. They have that new. I forgot what I was gonna say. My Sega Saturn. I bought a FPGA board that goes in it, so I can load it up with the SD card. Because those games are hella expensive to buy. So yeah, finding some good ISOs is hard lately. Nod to Nintendo.
All right, very cool. You're working through there. Centurion, what have you been playing the past week or so?
Well, I've been playing an unhealthy amount of Destiny 2. If anybody here ever wants to join me, please feel free to hit me up anytime. I also got a great crew. I'm part of the BG4G Hub clan, so there's definitely enough of us to get like a good social gathering going on and actually do some raids and stuff like that. Outside of Destiny, I've also been trying to still hammer away at the DLC on Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I checked out Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I've just been all over the place. As a matter of fact, I also played a little bit of the Zelda's Link Awakening. I want to probably say I'm almost like, I know I'm more than a quarter of a way through that game. I'm pushing like halfway through that game.
How's that so far?
I'm enjoying it. It's definitely making me feel like a kid again. It definitely shows what happens when you can take your time and really do a remaster or a remake, whatever you want to call it, from the ground up, versus just rushing one out. We all know some companies are guilty of that, but when you take your time, you could definitely make a really great product, and Link's Awakening is a very good example of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sound like a true gamer, man. You've been gaming.
I remember
Oh, God, yeah.
I demoed it again like 2 months ago, and I was like, oh man, I was in love with it because the colors just pop out. The art style, I wasn't sure about it at first, but then everything just seems to work well. And yeah, it's such a fun game.
I know, and it's all reading. The characters, they don't talk. They make these like off-cuff noises. It's you're just
let me hear it. Let me hear you make the noise.
I am not going to make some of the noises. No, I'm not even going to try.
Is a bloop? Let me hear.
Like they all make their own individual noises. That is for sure.
He's
yeah,
lying, ladies and gentlemen. I don't believe him anymore. If he can't make that little noise that Zelda makes with Link, then I don't know. I don't know if I believe the story.
Oh my God, Zelda makes so many different noises.
Oh, the screaming.
His gasp. Yeah,
there it is.
There it is.
Whereabouts are you in the game?
There's 8 dungeons from what I've read in the game, and I just started dungeon 3.
Nice.
So as soon as I get to dungeon 4, I'll be pretty much halfway through the game. Definitely
8 to 12 hours, right? 8 to 12 hours to beat.
Something like
I
that.
Heard it
yeah,
was kind of short. I heard it wasn't that long.
Well, yeah,
but I heard
it's based off of a Game Boy game, And the funny part is with the Game Boy game, there wasn't much of a save feature, so you had to basically, never turn that thing off or be able to beat it in large chunks. This is really cool, especially with the sleep feature of the Nintendo. Like that is something that definitely goes under the radar. Is we know PlayStation and Xbox have these resume gameplay where you can put the consoles to sleep and continue playing them. But I've had times where either one of them have shut off and you got to restart the game anyways. Dude, this Nintendo, man, literally, I have gone weeks, if not months, in between playing a game sometimes on that Nintendo, and you just start right back up in that game. It was like, hey, did you want to play the game you just last played? And I'm, just amazed by that.
Nintendo their innovation. And then speaking on Zelda, I mean, I think Zelda was the first game to have a battery inside of the cartridge to help you like save where you left off. Am I mistaken?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, and that's actually the downfall of why some of these games are hard to find, because the battery would break down over time, acid would spill out on the boards and just ruin them. And not to mention, if you have some of these games now, the battery is obviously dead. And so you turn the game off, you lose it. There's actually a couple gamers in the community that can actually take these cartridges apart and actually change the batteries.
Nice.
Oh yeah, real easy.
Oh yeah. Now here's a question for you, Centurion. Luigi's Mansion is coming out in a few days for the Switch. Are you interested in that?
That, I will be truthful, is not exactly my wheelhouse, but the Nintendo is like a shared thing between me and my wife. She saw Luigi's Mansion, and that's on her radar. So I would not be surprised at all one bit if that game ended up in this household somehow.
Yeah, well, actually, I totally forgot about it in the new releases that we were talking about earlier. But that's coming out oh yeah, it's coming out on Halloween actually. So it'll be next week. But still, like, which is perfect for Luigi's Mansion. But I got a chance to demo it a couple of months ago as well, and I got nothing to say but good things about it. Like, I'll be getting that for myself. I'll totally admit that.
They re-released them on Switch, right? All of them, or the other two.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if they have.
They said they were going to do it. But
I
should.
I was just say, yeah, I haven't seen or heard anything about them releasing the originals on the Switch. All I've heard is just Luigi's Mansion 3.
I think we're gonna have to pick that up. I enjoyed the first one on the GameCube. If I'm not mistaken, the GameCube, right? I never beat it, but I had fun playing it.
You know what's funny about that? I played it and beat it on the GameCube as well, but I had originally bought it for an ex-girlfriend of mine at the time, and I ended up just playing right through it, beating it, and man, oh man, I didn't think anything of it at the time, but man, the original Luigi's Mansion was just such a cool game. I don't know, man. Like, it was just cool. I like it. I like the Luigi. What can I say? But move on to what I've been playing recently. Of course, as I touched on before, Batman Arkham Asylum, I beat it. Great game, and I can't believe I passed on it, guys. I can't believe I passed on it.
Are you moving on to a city?
Yes, I have started like the first hour or two of City, and yeah, there's a lot of noticeable upgrades to it. That's for sure. I can tell. What they took what they've learned from making Asylum and transferred, everything to City. Yeah. And I can totally see myself beating City and working my way onto Arkham Knight because I really like the mechanics and the game just looks beautiful. So
now, are you doing the Riddler trophies too?
In Asylum I was, but City not so much.
Well, it seems very daunting, but at least in Arkham Knight, to truly beat the game and to get the actual full ending of Arkham Knight, you have to collect them all.
You're kidding, right?
How many of them is it?
There's a couple hundred of them. Like and like what it is you to get the full ending. I don't want to ruin it, man, because I mean, like it actually changes the dynamic of the end of the game. To get the full ending of Arkham Knight, you need to collect all those Riddler trophies because it has to do with capturing all of the Arkham City villains, and the Riddler won't reveal himself until you've collected them all.
I kind of like what Salty said. Just watch it on YouTube.
Well, yeah.
I was just going to say, Invader.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, Invader, you go ahead and do that. The hard work for us, and just tweet it out when you get to that last one, and then stream it, so we all can see it. Because there's no way in hell I'm going to have the time to do that.
Oh, dude, but the ending, man. I mean, it totally blows your mind when you're like, "Oh my god, is he really going to do that?"
Wow.
You got me tempted now. I don't know. But of course, as I mentioned before, I've been playing a bunch. I've been spending a lot of time with Friday the 13th, to be honest with you, since it was available with Games with Gold this month. And as I said, I was playing it with Centurion on Friday night. A lot of fun. I mean, it's buggy. You can tell that it's not finished. The dev, had moved on, and yeah, it's cool. I kind of like it, to be honest with you. And otherwise, Oh yeah, I've been playing a bit of Felix the Reaper. It was available on Xbox GamePass. It's a little indie game, and it's a quirky puzzler. It's got an interesting story to it. I don't know how much. I don't know if I see myself putting in a lot of time into it, but I definitely wanted to sample it. And like the Xbox statistics were suggesting, I'll sample anything. So it's expanding my genres, if you will. And
Nice.
it's cute. It's a cute, quirky puzzler if anybody's interested in picking it up. But with that all said, guys, it's been a blast, but
I
this
got I
episode.
got one more thing to say.
Oh,
It's
he's got something
October.
to say. All right.
It's October, right? So like, we got it's Halloween, it's things are scary and things that go bump in the night and the black cats. What's the scariest game that we've all played? Like, I mean, Centurion, Invader, Shock. Like, what's the scariest game you ever played? Just for this month, October. Like, can you guys think of a game that kind of freaked you out?
I haven't had a game freak me out in a long time, but there was one game when I was growing up as a kid that really messed with me. And that was purely because I have a fear of deep water. And everybody remembers Star Wars Shadows of the Empire, right?
Yes, I have that game actually.
Yeah, on N64. And there was
Hmm.
a level in the game where you had to run around in the sewers and literally go into deep water and fight things underwater and stuff. And for some reason
Oh yeah.
that always messed with me as a kid. But that I've obviously gotten over that hurdle as I grow up, as I've grown up. But even still in games today, when they have like moments where you're like out in the middle of the open ocean and you're looking down, and you're like, dude, is there something in this water? I swear to God.
Yeah, no,
Really?
I know exactly the levels he's talking about too. I remember playing that. I I was deathly afraid of like just going near the water. So totally understand. Let's see. Scariest game,
Yeah,
scariest
we're.
game.
I'll just
Um,
say for me, like I remember playing Halo Combat Evolved and then getting to the part where I saw the flood for the first time and the music changing. And I was at home, the lights were like just out, and I'm just sitting here being freaked out. Until Resident Evil came out, which one? What was the one that just came out? Like what, 2 years ago? Last year? Which
Resident Evil
version was
2.
it? No,
Resident Evil
no, not
2.
two. No, before that. That was the remaster. What was the one that just recently came out? It was
Oh,
first person. Is that seven? Which Resident Evil was that?
7.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
7.
Resident Evil 7.
Seven.
oh,
That
Biohazard, yeah.
I can't play that. It freaks me out. Like I can't, when you're in the scene, you go into that house and the woman's
You play it
changing
in VR on the
and
PS4.
you're being stabbed. Like I think you got. Didn't you get your hand cut off? I could not play that game. I'll never finish that game because it scares the hell out of me. Like it's just too realistic. I can't. I can't do it. I've tried and tried and tried. Tim has done it. I can't do it.
Yeah, you play on
Right.
the
So
VR with the PS4. You'll take off the headset and your like heart's beating as fast as
yeah, I
you can.
can't, man. I just it's that good of I guess they did a hell of a job with it because that's one of those games I don't think I'll ever finish because it's that scary to me.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Recent things that's scary. I don't know. Have you seen the Sarah Connor model for Gears 4? Man, that thing looks like a ghoul from Fallout. Ooh. No. Let's see. Dead Space. Dead Space is
Mhm.
bloody scary at times. Like all the bloody.
That's yeah, and then the I liked what Dreadpill said, the Fear series. Like Fear was a really awesome game when it first came out. Like a
Great
concept that
multiplayer.
I really wish they would touch more on a concept like that of like a paranormal, investigation team where you have to go out and deal with things that most people don't want to deal with. Like I remember that little girl just walking down the hallways towards you, and all you can do is just fire your gun with the hopes of that she just goes away.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say I think the scariest one would be probably like that PT demo on the on the PS4. But if that doesn't count since it's not a full game, I would say Eternal Darkness. Back
Oh
in the day,
yeah.
it was just kind of freaky, just like playing by yourself in the dark, no one else home.
Cockroach goes across the TV.
Yeah, it's just like that one kind of freaked me out.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I ever saw the cockroach. I thought it was real. Everybody starts tripping out, man, thinking there's a cockroach on the TV.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
like now you just saw something. Like then then you look like you're going insane when you're playing it with your friends.
Spiders and roaches don't do it to me, man.
Well, in Eternal Darkness, what made it really, really, they went in and they sculpted the cockroach perfectly to where it looked like it was on the inside of the tube television. Because back in those days, LCDs hadn't really, LCDs were so god awful expensive. You barely knew anybody who had them. So everybody had a tube television. So when you see the cockroach, you're actually seeing it from the bottom, the legs and everything. And so it's like kind of messing with you because you're like, is there really a cockroach in my TV?
Yeah, it's just I've been in a few households where that was the reality of things. So it's like,
God.
and there was a cockroach. So, but yeah.
Dang.
I got we got I
Oh,
guess
Michael. Michael
ABA.
says Alien Isolation. Yes, because you truly felt hunted in that game. I totally agree with you on that, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be a plethora of worthless information, but you know how the alien worked in that game, right? The alien had two AIs controlling the alien that looked for you. The body and the body was one AI, the head was a second AI. The body always knew where you were, but the head always had to look for you. And so basically that's why it always felt like you were hunted, because the body would get the head as close as it could before the head had to do the rest of the actual searching for you. And I thought that was really cool when I read about the mechanics of how they actually created that whole, that whole thought of you being constantly hunted.
It does sound cool. There's some trivia for you. I would have never known.
The more you know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny how like games work, man. Like, remember Half-Life 2? Does anybody remember Half-Life 2?
Oh,
like,
yes, yes.
If you noticed in the game, when you would shoot people, they would fall over rails very easily. It was because they wanted to have this dramatic death thing. And so they programmed it into the game that the rails of the game would somehow attract dead bodies. So that way, when you shot somebody down, they just did this dramatic thing where they would just slump over the rail. And it's just weird stuff like that for some reason that intrigues me on game building, on how somebody actually thought that up and was just like, we need to put this in the game because we just want it to look dramatic.
Half-Life 2, wow.
Oh,
that seems like forever ago.
That brings me back to PT. Someone actually looked at, like, I guess the net code of it. And when you're hearing her, like, her voice, you're like, where is she? You can't see her. But no, you can't see her. But when your back is turned, she's literally hovering right behind you. That's why you can hear her so close to you, but you don't know she's there. Everybody was like, holy shit. That's even more freaky.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds very creepy. Yeah, there's a lot of good scary games out, but like somebody mentioned Outlast. Like I still have to get through Outlast and Outlast 2. Like they're on my backlog, and it sucks because I want to get to them, but man, there's so much to play these days. It's not funny. The crunch is real. The crunch is real, my friends.
Yes, it is.
All right, fellas. Well, hey, it's been a blast, and this episode is now coming to a close. But a massive shout out to everyone that came to watch the show: Anthony Boyd, Michael Monkey Punch, Abacab72, a whole bunch, Saltiest Gaming. Thanks for joining us, Bud, and a whole bunch of other wonderful people. Matt Jones. Again, if you happen to enjoy tonight's show, then please consider leaving a like, share this out to the world, and leave a comment, because we love the feedback and the conversations with everybody that has the same gaming passion that we share. All right, panel, outro time. Now, Megatron, working everybody follow you, my Transformer friend?
Yeah, when I have time to game, hopefully much sooner than later, you can hit me up on Xbox Live, Megatron One, and leave me a message, or just simply just say hello, and you can follow me on Twitter, Megatron_1975. That's it.
All right, fantastic, my friend. Shock. Where can everybody get shocked at?
Yeah, you can find me at Shock Nero on Twitter, Easy Shock on PSN and Xbox Live. And yeah, I don't know my friend code for Switch, so yeah.
Alrighty. Centaurian. Oh, sorry, Centurion. I always want to say Centaurian for some reason. I don't
Do
know
I
why.
look like a half horse individual?
Do you really want to know? No, I'm just
Thanks.
kidding, my friend. All right, Centurion, where can everybody follow you?
You can follow me on YouTube and Twitter and Xbox Live at Centurion1307. You can also always find me here kicking it with you guys on TXR. I'm also on the Saltiest Gaming Podcast on Thursdays and the Shop Podcast on Saturdays. And this week I will be joining Mr. Boomstick XL on Primetime Gaming tomorrow night.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, Boomy's a great guy. So many good things to say about him. I should get him on here sometime. He's a good guy. Talk games
That
with.
would be great. I mean,
Oh,
for the
yeah,
first
he's
so many
awesome.
three. Yeah, he's an awesome dude.
You know, before I even got into podcasting and actually being a content creator, he was one of the few podcasters you could reach out to on social media that would actually take the time to respond to you. And I just thought that was really awesome. Like, I will definitely say he has been one of my role models coming into podcasting and being like, that's the attitude I want to have doing this.
Absolutely. Boom, I got all kinds of good things to say about the guy. Very friendly, and everybody should check out his content because I think he makes some really great, amazing, positive content out there. And of course, I'm Invader. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Invader Gaming, and I'm pretty active on Twitter at Invader_1986. Guys, again, it's been a blast, and we can't wait to catch you on our next episode next Sunday. Hopefully, we got a few more guys next week, but we look forward to seeing all of you there. Have a good night, fellas.
Later.
Later.